Siguiente pasión para
Te
ti,
digo,
Brian.
mucho tiempo va, Barcelona venía a Los Ángeles. Ronaldinho fue un amigo mío. Estaba allí hablando con Ronaldinho y Ronaldinho me dice, Kobe, mira, te voy a
A presentar.
a presentar el juego que va a ser el mejor juego de todos los tiempos. ¿Tú qué? Tú eres el mejor jugador. Él me dice, no, esto aquí va a ser el mejor. Fui Lionel Messi, tenía solamente 17 años.
Chiquito.
Chiquito.
As you can see, this is the late, great Kobe Bryant talking about the Chiquito version of Lionel Messi. Now, for a lot of people, I'd say in America, some sports you are not super into, and I think for Americans it's very easy to say soccer is not that popular. Just the fact that Americans call football soccer kind of shows you the disassociation with the rest of the world. When it comes to certain sports, whether you follow it or not, certain names stand out. I never really watched hockey, but I know Wayne Gretzky is a GOAT. I never really watched football that much, but I do know that Tom Brady is goddamn the best near quarterback there's ever been. And I for damn sure do not watch golf, but everyone knows Tiger Woods, different level type of mentality. And the same is true for football or soccer, where over the years, I've watched a few games, I've dibble-dabbled, I've paid attention to the World Cup in the past, but I've always heard the name Ronaldo or Messi, right? These two individuals who have always played at a high level, been very popular, very successful in their clubs, very successful on a national level as well, in terms of their flair, their style, their skill. But in both cases, there was a little bit of an issue when it goes to a national level. Focusing on Messi specifically, as well as Ronaldo, they were amazing players, but the country they came from didn't necessarily have the best supporting cast. Yeah, there's Di Maria, who has always been an amazing, amazing playmaker. And yeah, there's Kun Aguero, who's an amazing striker. And yes, there's Lionel Messi, who is an extremely tactical, ingenious footballer. But that's pretty much all you can say about Argentina for a long time. And I think that looking at the recent World Cup win of Lionel Messi at the age 35 in the year 2022, 18 years after his professional debut in the sport, it's really remarkable, it's really impressive, and it's really important. I would like to go back and do a very short history of the high-level pieces that led up to this moment, as well as look at the beauty, magnificence of the events that unfolded over the course of December. That was this most recent World Cup. Now, as I said, Messi started his footballing career in 2004, and he is Argentinian, so he plays for the Argentinian national team. Now, he started off in Barcelona. He played alongside Ronaldinho. He pretty much has always had a remarkably good start. I mean, you're starting off in a great club with a great player. There's not much more you can ask for when you're looking at it from a mentorship perspective. And Messi picked it up pretty fast. Messi ended up eventually becoming the next golden boy of Barcelona. He ended up becoming the monster of Barcelona, where in 2012, he actually broke a record to score 91 goals in that year, calendar year, for the season, which is absolutely maddening, which is absolutely insane. And to this day, that's still existing, and that still has not been broken. And throughout all this time, Messi has been an amazing dribbler.
Dreta per Xavi, assistència de Xavi, més cap a dreta per Messi, 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 immens Messi, encara 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 Messi, gol, 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 increïble.
He's been an amazing free kicker.
La tocó Messi. Messi de zurda, Neymar de derecha. ¿Qué problema para Schmeichel? Messi o Neymar. Neymar o Messi. Neymar pasó, va a ser Messi. ¡Adentro! ¡Gol!
He's been an amazing penalty taker.
Oh, cheeky, cheeky, cheeky Lionel Messi. Who does he think he is?
He has been a absolute core of the Barcelona team when it comes to making plays, saving the day, and when it existed in the time of Neymar, Suarez, and Messi, they were pretty much the jewels of the crown that brought Barcelona multiple championship leagues or championship trophies. Now, looking at this story, you would think, okay, Messi's an amazing player. I don't get it. Why didn't he win a World Cup? Isn't that just something that you just do when you're a great player? I mean, to be honest, being American, I would always look at basketball teams that would go to the Olympics and we always win gold. It's like, obviously, we're amazing. But that's not the same for Argentina, especially when it comes to the World Cup stand where you're going up against amazing teams. Amazing teams. And once you get to the World Cup stage, you're only going against people that qualified, and eventually you're only going against people who eliminated others, and it becomes extremely difficult. So difficult that Argentina's last World Cup victory was actually in 1986. Okay, we're talking about not even the 90s. We're talking about the 80s now. We're talking about the Coke days, right? You're telling me these guys had to be on cocaine to win this? And in 1990, Argentina ends up losing to West Germany, right? This is a final. And later on, in 2014, the next time they made it to a final, they lose to Germany again. Now, 2014 is when Messi's playing, Di Maria is playing. They have a pretty good team. Everything is looking pretty good. But some way, somehow, the game ends up going 0-0 until the 90th minute. The game ends up going into overtime. And during overtime, Germany's able to score in a miraculous goal at the 113th minute. Absolutely amazing. Germany's team was stacked that year. This was actually the year where Germany went on to do that amazing 7-1 game against Brazil. They were in rare form. They were really great. But this hurt a lot. It hurt a lot because Argentina finally made it to a final. Messi was performing. Di Maria was performing. But there was one individual who may have changed history if he wasn't the Argentinian Harry Maguire.
Just a bit of waste of time, and then he has, like it's a gifted chance. Goes back header, he's onto it, but again he's slow, pedestrian, laborious.
I think when it bounces up, Alan, I don't know about you in that situation, just nudge it forward with your head and make the chance much easier.
Well, it's set up really well for him. He's got the option to take it on if he wants to, but because it's so nice to hit, it's an absolute sitter. You want one of them, you dream about one of them.
So as you can see, an Argentinian player missing a pretty easy shot on goal. I mean, even if it were not to go in, at least have it on goal, hurts. It hurts because that was during the first half, and had the game played out the same exact way it already did, Germany would have lost, Argentina would have won, and that would have been a crown jewel in Messi's career, and actually would have been the first time Messi on that national team would have ever won a national title. Now, what's also a factor in this equation and what goes into this is, again, the Argentinian team is not exactly the same as the club team, because you'll think, okay, Messi's doing amazing with Barcelona. That year, that 2014-2015 year, Barcelona went on to win a Champions League. They did great. Barcelona had a better supporting cast. Barcelona had better opportunities, and in general, they had better players. And it's frustrating because Messi at this point in time is at the peak of his career. 2012, he gets 91 goals. 2014, he has 50-some-odd goals, other assists as well. He's in the peak of his playing. This is his top. At this point in time, he will not be any better from a human perspective of youth and vigor. And he loses the World Cup. It hurts. It's sad. But this now begins almost a curse for Lionel Messi, because going on forward from this, he will continue to perform great in clubs. He'll do great, but on a national level, it just doesn't add up. It just does not end up happening. And one of those places where one of the most traumatizing and hurtful losses came to Argentina would be the Copa America. This would be the Cup of the Americas, and this would be the game between Chile and Argentina. So from 2004 all the way up until 2021, Argentina would make it to the final. Every year, they would make it to the final. So we're looking at a 17-year period where Messi is playing. Messi's trying. He wants to win that national title. and Argentina loses. And finally, the breaking point came in 2016, where Argentina actually lost, and a lot of it had to do with this.
Vidal was one of them. He's missed. And how about this? Lionel Messi stepping up. He led off for Argentina last summer. He went to the left of Claudio Bravo and scored. Bravo, 6'1", made 4 saves in this match. Can Messi put Argentina in front? He missed it!
Messi missing that penalty was huge, because had he had made that penalty and the game went on the way it did, they would have ended, they would have won, and it would have been the first Argentinian national title that would go to Lionel Messi. But that didn't happen. Messi missed the penalty, which he has been known to be a great penalty taker, along with, multiple other players such as Ronaldo, where once they go up and step on that line, chances are they're getting it in the net. Some way, somehow, he missed it completely. Now, this was shocking, it was sad, and it was yet another final that Argentina lost. And because of it, Lionel Messi actually retired from the national team.
Gives up his chase for a national trophy, and he resigns himself to just playing club football for the rest of his life.
That's how the story could have ended, but it didn't. Lionel Messi did retire, he did give up, but he eventually came back. And one thing that was actually shocking and beautiful is that someone on Twitter named Lionel Scaloni said, "Messi cannot retire, please come back." And as you would have it, this same person, Lionel Scaloni, would end up being the coach for Argentina and be the key piece in Argentina winning their very first Copa America in 2021.
Ahí en la última jugada se equivocaron 2 veces, ¿eh? Se equivocó Acuña y después De Paul. ¡Qué buena pelota! ¡Qué buena pelota para el Fideo, que es el primero de María! ¡Gol!
Absolutely beautiful, absolutely amazing. It seemed like Argentina had finally found the coach and the players needed, that groove, that synergy, that power to potentially have a good national mainstay and have a great World Cup, potentially. Things would change. Not everything would stay the same for Messi, and not everything would stay the same for the Argentina national team. Lionel Scaloni would stay on as the head coach, but in 2021, Lionel Messi actually had to leave Barcelona due to financing issues and money problems that the club faced. He ended up leaving and joining Paris Saint-Germain, a completely new club.
C'est l'une des icônes mondiales, l'un des plus grands joueurs de l'histoire du football, qui nous fait l'honneur de revêtir le maillot parisien. 6 ballons d'or. Je ne vous cite pas tout son palmarès. Écoutez le parc, le nouveau numéro 30 du Paris Saint-Germain, Léo! Léo! Léo!
After 17 years, Messi had to basically abandon his home club, the club he wanted to play for his entire life, and he had to go to new territory. He went to France, he went to Paris, he joined that team along with Neymar, his old teammate, and it was a new leaf for Messi. It was basically a new process, and that first season that he was at PSG, it wasn't stellar, right? It was a transitionary period. Messi was trying to find his leggings, he was trying to find his groove, he was trying to get into it, and it was a learning period. Now, not only was it a time for Messi to shift his focus, shift his job, but at the same time, Sergio Aguero, who was a great striker, who was actually one of the players that helped win that Copa de America, would actually retire football completely, the national and club level, due to a heart condition that he revealed in 2021 later that year. So, as you can see, as great as the international level had seemed, finally winning that first national title, Messi's in a different club. He has to learn new things. He has to try to go with the groove. Ends up being one of his worst seasons from a historical perspective. Now, going on from this, we now have an Argentina team with a Messi who is trying to learn his way. He's trying to figure things out. You lose Sergio Aguero, and it seems like the Argentina team needs to refocus, rehone, and reshape themselves. Now, leading up to the World Cup in 2022, some things change. First of all, Messi has a much, much better season. He gets a really good groove. He starts having assists, crazy games with Neymar and Mbappe, and it looks like he's finally at home at PSG. As much as it hurts him to leave Barcelona, he gets over it, he figures out the flow, and he goes on to dominate in that league. Upon 2022's end, PSG continue on in the Champions League. In February, they'll be going against Bayern Munich. Messi is in rare form. Neymar seems to be in rare form, and so does Mbappe. Now, Mbappe is someone to take into consideration because he's Messi's teammate. He's young. He's 23. And at 19 years old, Mbappe won his first World Cup in 2018. And it's also in the same World Cup that France would eliminate Argentina, and it would basically be Mbappe ripping the World Cup away from Messi, not even in the final, just on the way there. In the knockout stages, Argentina gets eliminated. So it's sad. It's something that is unfortunate, but it's part of this story because, again, in 2022, Mbappe will be there and Messi will be there. Now, another thing to remember is that Messi getting his footing on a club level is very important, because the way you play with the club, the way you play with the national team, it bleeds into your regular play. Messi, Lionel Messi, going to the World Cup in 2022 is his last one. He's 35 years old. Messi, Di Maria, Cristiano Ronaldo, Luka Modric, all these people who are legends of football, whether it be in Spain, whether it be in England, whether it be anywhere, they're respected and renowned for their club performance and their own individual performance. Now, for the 2022 World Cup that we are now at now in the month of December of 2022, it starts off where, coming into it, Argentina is able to qualify. France is able to qualify. Brazil is able to qualify. And it really is a moment where you look at these teams and they look amazing, right? Especially the United States. That's one thing that you got to keep in mind. Christian Pulisic was actually on a banner with Ronaldo and Messi. I keep saying names like Ronaldo and Messi ring bells, you know what I mean? But Christian Pulisic, he deserves to be there, and he's definitely one of those A1 players. And he's basically the Messiah for the United States. But this tournament was looking really good, and it actually looked amazing for Argentina because they were in a group stage with Poland, Mexico, and Saudi Arabia. Now, of these players, of these teams, the easiest win for Argentina would be Saudi Arabia, followed by probably Poland or Mexico. Poland has very good players. Lewandowski is on there, a great German striker, or Polish striker actually, plays for a German team, or did. Now he's on Barcelona. Mexico, just one of those American teams that are generally good. And then Saudi Arabia was ranked number 55 on the FIFA rankings, while as Argentina was number 3. It seemed like an easy win. It seemed like an easy qualifying round. All Argentina had to do was demolish Saudi Arabia, destroy Poland, and then just beat Mexico or tie. It really doesn't matter. They'd go on. But then that first game came. It was Argentina versus Saudi Arabia. The game goes on, and a penalty is happening in the Saudi box. Ends up, someone fouls an Argentinian player, and the penalty goes to Argentina. The person who takes it is Lionel Messi. Now, he does not repeat his mistake from the 2016 final against Chile for the Copa America. No. This Lionel Messi takes a cool, calm, and collected penalty and gets the kick. Amazing. Great. The game goes on. It continues on. And you start to see something that is terrifying the Argentina team, and that is called an offside trap. Now, in football, there is rules to how you can pass the ball and progress. One thing is that all offensive players must be within the bounds of defensive players on another team. So, for example, if you have defensive players that are at the 55-yard mark and you have one offensive player at the 60-yard mark, they're offsides. You actually need to give the ball up because you basically had a player who was out of range when you pass the ball, and you need to bring it back, and you need to start over. This actually led to Argentina making 4 offside goals in this game, and it wasn't great. It was actually pretty demoralizing. But hey, Argentina's up 1-0. What's the worst that can happen? Well, Saudi Arabia goes on to land not just one, but 2 goals, winning this game and beating Argentina. Now, it's at this point that people are like, is Argentina literally going to choke in the group stage after making it to the final in 2014 and then the knockouts in 2018? Are they going to lose it here? Is that it? Is Messi washed up? Is he terrible? Is he the worst? Messi simply says, have faith. We will not let you down. Next game, they end up beating the Mexico team without any overtime, without any issues. 2-0, beautiful. You get a goal from Lionel Messi. You get a goal from Enzo Fernandez, the young bull of the team. Great. Awesome. Amazing. I watched this game live. It was beautiful. You then go on to the next game against Poland. Again, you lost to Saudi Arabia. I guess you could lose to Poland too. But that does not happen, as Argentina wins 2-0 with Alexis McAllister and Julian Alvarez taking the goals to get the win for Argentina. Now remember the name, Enzo Fernandez, Alexis McAllister, and Julian Alvarez. These people are instrumental for the roadmap to Argentina getting to the finals because these are supporting casts that actually contribute, right? Now, Argentina had some great strikers. They had some great players, but they had a couple of people that, as you saw in that 2014 World Cup, weren't really pulling their weight. I can't say that this World Cup. I can honestly say that Argentina's team seems so good that they couldn't even put Dybala in that much because they just had such a good team set up and such a good synergy. Now, the next game that ends up happening is the first of the knockout stage games where Argentina is going to go up against Australia. Now, this game, thankfully, Lionel Messi gets a beautiful, beautiful goal at the 35-minute mark. Julian Alvarez, again, gets another goal, and they beat Australia 2-1. Pretty straightforward, nothing too crazy. But then you get to a very, very, very scary game. Quarterfinals, Netherlands versus Argentina. The Netherlands have been a tough team for Argentina to beat, most teams to beat. They actually wiped the floor with United States, but they weren't really prepared for the Netherlands. The Netherlands have Depay, Frankie de Jong. They have Van Dijk. It's a stacked team with great players. And one thing to take into consideration is that Argentinian players have an average height of around maybe 5'8", 5'11" at most. Whereas for the Netherlands players, they have a lot of tall players. And this actually played a pretty big role when you watch the game because there's a lot of times where they're winning headers and they're doing things that seem almost impossible other than to say that, they have that height advantage. Now, moving on, we see this game go on where you see Nahuel Molina make a goal at 35 minutes. You then see Lionel Messi make a penalty at 73 minutes, and it seems like the game is done. With 17 minutes left in the game, Argentina is up 2-0. Now, this is where starts the Argentina defense curse. Up until the quarterfinals, where we at now, until the finals, there were a lot of mistakes that the Argentinian defenders made. And one of the biggest ones was actually what contributed to the 2-2 that eventually went to overtime. So, Wout Weghorst makes a goal at the 83-minute mark. Fair enough. We then get to extra time, which was 90 plus 11 minutes, right? Might have been more, but it was a lot of extra time. And unfortunately, a rookie on the Argentina team gets a little bit too rowdy, gets a little bit too offensive, and fouls a Netherlands player right outside the box. It's not a penalty, but it's close. Netherlands then goes on to do a FIFA move where they pass the ball from the free kick position, and get a goal. It's at this point that the game goes to overtime. Now in overtime, no one scores. Okay, we're now going to penalty shootouts. Now, you go into penalty shootouts, and it's scary, because this is a possibility for Argentina to get eliminated. Messi's last World Cup, the dream is over. What ends up happening? Martinez, the goalie for Argentina, really steps up. He's able to block 2 penalty kicks. Amazing. Lionel Messi makes his penalty. A bunch of the supporting cast makes a penalty. Pretty much everyone makes a penalty except for Fernandez. For whatever reason, he kicks it wide. It's at this point in time that Lautaro Martinez is the last person to take his penalty kick. And if he misses, similar to Fernandez, or if it's blocked, it goes to sudden death. That means they lose the shootout potentially, or draw, and every player just goes to kick each time over and over until someone screws up. This is pretty crazy considering that Argentina's goalie was able to block 2 shots, and now you're in this position. Thankfully, Lautaro Martinez is able to bury it in the net, and along with it, they're able to bury the Netherlands' chances at a World Cup. And another thing to take into consideration here is that this is one of the first games where Lionel Messi gets a yellow card for actually shouting at the referee, because he was so hyped up and he was so amped, because he, along with other Argentinians, did not like the Netherlands team. Van Gaal has a history where he actually got a Argentinian player on Barcelona and kind of embarrassed him, disrespected him, made him look like a fool. And as a response to this, Messi actually did that player's iconic celebration right in front of the dugout just to let him know what time it is. We also had a beautiful comment from Elio Martinez, the goalie from Argentina, basically making a comment after the game saying,
okay, but when you got to the penalty shootout, what's the thinking going into the spot kicks? Did you have it all planned out?
I heard Van Gaal saying we got an advantage in penalties. If we go to penalties, we win. I think he needs to keep his mouth shut.
But the way he was talking about Argentina, the way he was saying their style is lazy, sloppy. He said Brazil are just small counterattacking teams. We'll dominate these fools. Van Gaal, he deserved the L he got. And his teammate, Weghorst, also deserved Messi's tirade, where after the game he called him a fool.
Bueno, Leo, quedaste un poco caliente por el final.
¿Qué mira, bobo? Anda para allá, bobo. Anda para allá.
Tranquilo, Leo. Bueno.
Well, at this point, we are now at the semi-finals, one step removed from the finals. And it's at this point that Argentina is going to go up against Croatia. Now, the result for this is pretty beautiful. It's actually one of the best games Argentina has in the entire tournament. Messi scores a penalty the first half of the game. And then, beautifully, the young stunner, Julian Alvarez, gets an amazing goal 5 minutes later, and then gets another good goal 30 minutes later, tying up the game to make it Croatia's worst international or World Cup loss, 3-0. This unfortunately ends the chances for Luka Modric to get a World Cup in his last appearance at the World Cup, but he does get the 3rd place prize. He shows that he's a good player, and at the end of the day, I think that Luka Modric did a good job, but this was Messi's World Cup for me. I was rooting for Messi. And now we come to the fated day, December 18th, 2022, World Cup final, Argentina versus France. France, the reigning champions. France, the team that was able to beat England, able to beat teams like Morocco, able to beat pretty much everyone in their path without ever going to extra time. And they played well. Giroud, Mbappe, and a couple of supporting casts. Griezmann, by the way, played amazing this World Cup. But this game was hard to watch. I really wanted Argentina to win. And with Argentina being up 2-0 up until the 80th minute, it's kind of hard to believe. It was like, wow, Lionel Messi gets a penalty at 23 minutes because Di Maria is able to basically outclass Ousmane Dembele. He gets a foul. He falls down. Messi takes the penalty. Messi gets it in. Then, a mere 13 minutes later in the first half, Di Maria gets a beautiful cross from McAllister, and he buries it behind the net. And it's at this point, I'm astounded. But I don't think it's a guarantee because I've seen how Argentina's defenders can sometimes foul too much, give up a penalty, this, that, and the third. And it's not great. It's not good, and it can happen. And boy, did it happen this game. So at 80 minutes, Kylian Mbappe gets a penalty kick because Argentina fouled. Plain and simple. They foul in the box. He gets a kick. All right. It is now 2-1. France 1 and Argentina 2 at the 80th minute mark. Not that bad. Still up by 1. Perhaps Messi could get another goal and carry his team because, God forbid if he were to just play clean defending. And then 1 minute later, Kylian Mbappe gets another goal. Absolutely amazing. In Martinez's defense, the goalie gets a finger on the ball and tries to stop it. He tries to get in there, but he just can't do it. He can't stop it. It's too fast. It's too powerful. But here's the beautiful thing. At 108 minutes, this is overtime at this point, Lionel Messi gets an amazing goal. A goal that I did not think was even a goal until all the dust had settled. He runs in. He stays onside, which was very difficult because everyone was moving in the box. He is able to take a rebound kick, push it into the goal, and despite a defender kicking it away, it does cross the line. It does count. Lionel Messi has just taken his team from 2-0 to 2-2, and now we're at 3-2. 108 minutes. All Argentina needs to do is play straight defense, clean. No reason to do anything fancy. Just play D. That's all you have to do. What ends up happening at 118 minutes? This happens. Unfortunately, a player has his arm outstretched. He gets kicked. It's a handball in the box. It's a penalty for France. And again, Mbappe takes it. Now, one thing to take into consideration here. France is an extremely good team. Mbappe is an extremely good player, and he has youth and vigor on his side. But one thing to take into consideration, nothing to take away from Argentina. This was a very good game. It was very well fought, and it was a game that really was not easy. And France, throughout this entire tournament, has done great with its lineup. But one thing to keep in mind is that France did not have Benzema, Karim Benzema, the current Ballon d'Or winner. France did not have Paul Pogba. And France also did not have Kanté, who is a good midfielder. And that's something to take into consideration because at some point, Ousmane Dembele gets benched because he gave up that penalty for Di Maria. For some reason, Giroud gets benched too. I don't know why, honestly. He's like a pretty good striker, and he was doing really good the past 2 games. I don't know why he got benched. And Griezmann eventually gets benched because you can only run so much. And you got to take that into consideration because more than likely, this would have been a different penalty lineup where Karim Benzema would probably be in it. A Ballon d'Or player, striker, he'd be in it. Paul Pogba might have been in it, but really Benzema is the big striker I can think of. But those 3 players had injuries and they couldn't play. Similar to how Kun Agüero couldn't play because he retired early due to health complications. So now we go into shootouts. The first person to take the kick, Kylian Mbappe. Just buries it. Absolutely dominates the Argentinian goalie. It's really unfortunate. It's one of those things where you really can't do much about it. Mbappe has a strong kick, and he does it well, aims it well, and he just buries it. Who's up next? Lionel Messi. Now, one thing to take into consideration is that the goalie for France openly admits that he's not the best penalty taker. Despite him blocking Harry Kane's goal in the England game versus France and basically, stealing that title from his own teammate, Tonheim, he's not the best penalty goalie. And it kind of showed because at no point did it really seem like he was getting close to stopping a ball because Messi is able to roll the ball right through. He is not missing this penalty. He's not shooting over. He's not shooting outside wide. Right in, off to the left, right into the goal. Next up for France, I don't remember, but I do remember Lionel Martinez blocking that shot and giving a little bit of breathing room to Argentina. Again, Lionel Martinez blocks it again, 2 in a row, giving Argentina breathing room. Dybala goes up for a penalty. Dybala, a player who has had only 16 minutes of playtime this tournament because he has a similar position to Messi, and you're not going to sub out Messi necessarily. He goes in, and he's one of the few players to make a beautiful penalty down the center, and he gets it. Beautiful. Now we are at the point where France has 1 goal, 2 misses, 2 shots remain, and then we also have Argentina, where they have 3 shots. So, if you have 2 shots missed, 1 shot made, and 2 remaining, the most you can get is 3. You can't get more than that. If Argentina is able to make 4 shots in the net, they win. He makes the goal. Argentina win the World Cup. After 18 years, Lionel Messi can finally say that he has brought his team to the World Cup final and has won the World Cup from arguably one of the best World Cup teams, France, the reigning champions, coming back, beating out every team in their path up until Argentina. 18 years in the process, his final farewell to the sport on the World Cup level. He finally gets his World Cup, a game where the oldest players, Di Maria and Messi, are able to make the biggest contributions during the game. Di Maria with his beautiful cross goal, Di Maria with his beautiful play to get Messi the penalty, and Messi having the skill, the knowledge, 18 years of playing the sport, to know how to get the ball passed without going offside into the goal. The defender tries to stop it. He can't stop it. And when it goes to shoot out, Martinez is there. He has that beautiful golden glove, which he also uses as a as a taunting piece. He blocks 2 shots, and Argentina, after so many years, since 1986, did this country not win a World Cup? A country where, like Brazil, football is at the mainstay. It's at the top. It's something that they play. It's something they take pride in. The way they play is beautiful. That's one thing that Messi said about the Netherlands players. You don't know how to play football beautifully. You kick the ball in the box and hope it goes in. Argentina, with their skill, with their flair, with their one-tap passes, with their beautiful Di Maria, Messi, Aguero, who's no longer there, but he was able to at least carry Messi on his shoulder, and at least enjoy that World Cup win with him. They did it. 18 years, nearly 20 years of being in the game. Someone who is an amazing player, someone who is a genius tactician, someone who, like Cristiano Ronaldo, is amazing, beautiful, someone who is able to move the ball and do things that other players can't. That skill finally was able to be applied on a better team in a better setting with a better coach and win a World Cup. And it's similar to when Ronaldo won the Euro 2016, that beautiful, beautiful moment. Messi winning the Copa America in 2021 was amazing for him, was amazing for the team. And this World Cup trophy is just the absolute diamond crown jewel in Messi's crown. It's the absolute gigantic exclamation point to put on Messi's career. If he were to stop playing today, he'd be the best player in the past 30 years. On a personal opinion, as well as if you want to get down to the stats, he's magnificent. And it's a beautiful thing to see that Lionel Messi did not quit. Lionel Messi did not give up, despite him essentially choking in the 2016 finals for Copa America. He was able to come back. He was able to win that in the 2021 Copa America, and now in 2022 he was able to win the World Cup. He didn't give up. He got back up, and it's really beautiful to see. It's something that is amazing, and at the end of the day, all I can say is that a little boy from Rosario, Argentina, was able to grow up and have the number 10 Messi on his back, and from there, well, you know what, actually, this announcer will say it better than me.
The little boy from Rosario, Argentina, on behalf of every little boy wearing his shirt. Messi on 1 million backs. Messi for 1 million flashbulbs. Messi potentially to crown his stellar career. He's done it brilliantly for his nation in this competition. He must do it now. Messi must.
Sabemos lo que es Argentina, ya sabemos lo que es Brasil, hoy no quiero decir nada de esto. Hoy quiero darle las gracias, muchachos. Quiero darle las gracias por estos 45 días. Se lo dije el día de mi cumpleaños. Armé un grupo espectacular, un grupo hermoso y lo disfruté muchísimo. 45 días donde no nos quejamos de los viajes, de la comida, de los hoteles, de las canchas, de nada, muchachos. 45 días sin ver a nuestra familia, muchachos. 45 días. El Dibu fue papá y no pudo ver a la hija todavía. No la pudo hacer UPA. El chino igual. Lo vio un ratito nomás, muchachos, y todo porque, por este momento. Porque teníamos un objetivo, muchachos, y estamos a un pasito a conseguirlo. A un pasito, y ¿sabe qué es lo mejor de todo? Que depende de nosotros. Depende de nosotros ganar esta copa. Así que por eso, ahora vamos a salir, vamos a levantar esa copa y la vamos a llevar para Argentina para disfrutar con nuestra familia, nuestros amigos, la gente que bancó siempre argentino. Lo último, con esto termino. No existe la casualidad, muchachos. ¿Saben qué? Esta copa se tenía que jugar en Argentina. Y Dios la trajo acá. Dios la trajo acá para que la levantemos en el Maracaná, muchachos. Para que sea más lindo para todos. Así que salgamos confiados y tranquilos que esta la vamos a llevar para casa.
Argentina, champions of the world! Again! At last! And the nation will tango all night long! 36 years since Maradona and Mexico. Here, finally, is a nation's new throng of immortals. Scaloni will be fated. Messi will be sainted. France this time denied, defied. Lionel Messi has conquered his final peak. Lionel Messi has shaken hands with paradise. The little boy from Rosario, Santa Fe, has just pitched up in heaven. He climbs into a galaxy of his own. He has his crowning moments.
Lo último, con esto termino. No existe la casualidad, muchachos.